Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, your host, and this podcast is here to assist people like you, executive directors, board members, and other nonprofit leaders, make a bigger impact with insights, tips, and lessons learned from nonprofit leaders and experts. Having been an executive director, a board member, and now a consultant and coach, I truly understand the challenges you face. And that's why I'm here. I'm all about working smarter, not harder, so you can make a bigger impact without the burnout. And so is our sponsor, DonorBox. DonorBox isn't just a suite of helpful fundraising tools, it's a partner that helps you raise more money and supports you in retaining your donors. I love their forward thinking approach. Visit donorbox.org to learn more. And don't forget to sign up for the Inspired Nonprofit Leadership newsletter, where you'll get bite-sized, actionable tips just for nonprofit leaders like you, delivered weekly to your inbox. Sign up at inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up. Okay, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, nonprofit leaders. I'm Sarah Olivieri, and it is such a pleasure to bring you these short episodes on all things nonprofit leadership. And today we are talking about board members and board micromanagement. This is one, a very common problem, and two, it's not your fault. I'm going to show you once and for all how to establish a clear boundary between the board and the staff and the executive team. I'm going to use those words interchangeable so that you can reduce or even potentially eliminate frustration and leave your organization, your board, and your staff empowered to lead effectively, efficiently towards making the biggest impact possible, which I am all about. So, who wants to have a great relationship between board and staff and nip those confusions about boundaries for good? Here's what I want to say around having a clear boundary. First of all, there are a lot of board trainings out there, and there are a lot of board job descriptions out there. And many of them, if not all of them, promise what I just promised you to make the board's role clear. The problem is it's not clear because most of those job descriptions, all the ones I've seen, include the board actually managing things that the staff is also managing, like fundraising, like programming, sometimes even staffing. So, how to spend money, right? Financial planning. How is it going to be clear? How is there going to be a clear boundary if it is both the board's job and the staff's job? Now, my second point is there are some folks in the nonprofit world who think they have solved this problem by saying, well, they do it in partnership. What kind of partnership is that when one side of the partnership are paid staff whose job it is to do this thing full time? They're professionals, they're experts. And the other partner is a part-time volunteer who's not an expert, not getting paid, and somehow has the ability to fire the other partner. That doesn't sound like a good a good partnership to me, and I don't understand how that partnership was really going to be the most effective thing for your nonprofit. So, how do we actually create a clear boundary between staff or executive leadership and the board? And here's how we do it. We have the board focused on oversight. Oversight means checking decisions that somebody else made, not making decisions directly, right? Because if we oversee, if we double check our own decisions, it's really bad oversight, right? So we want the staff to be making decisions decisions, the executive staff and other staff, and we want the board, for the most part, to be double checking those decisions. So that leaves me with a very simple 4 roles or decisions, 4 decisions that an oversight board should be making, right? There's just 4. Are you ready for them? I'm going to give them to you right now. And if you're interested in a more in-depth training about this, I have these trainings all laid out in bite-sized chunks in the Board Clarity Club. You can send me a message if you want more information about that, or I'll stick a link somewhere near this, wherever you're listening to this. Okay, decision 1 for boards is, I call it ensure CEO. The board should make a decision or multiple decisions to ensure there's a capable CEO in place. This could mean hire them. This could mean let them go. This could mean delegate the hiring process to a committee. But at the end of the day, the decisions that ensure that there's a capable CEO in place need to be made by the board. The board should make decisions that I call e-brake or emergency brake decisions. These are decisions that stop an illegal, unethical, or grossly negligent activity that the staff isn't otherwise stopping. Okay? The third type of decision that boards should make are CEO requests. So basically, anytime the CEO or leadership team comes to the board and says, hey, I want you to make this decision, the board should make a decision. And the fourth and last type of decision that boards should make are board management decisions. So decisions related to the management of the board, like maybe who's going to be on the board or who's going to do what role or the bylaws. And include in here are anything that your state might legally require your board to make a decision. All other decisions should be made by the staff. Decisions around setting the strategy, staff. Otherwise, nobody's providing great oversight for the strategy. Decisions around money, including the budget, staff, not board. Decisions around staffing, the staff should make those decisions. Decisions on programming, the staff should make those decisions too. And decisions around fundraising and anything else I didn't list here should be made by the staff. Now, I know for some of you, this might be shocking, especially when I talk about boards not deciding on budgets. I don't have time to go into the full history now, but it's an interesting story for another day about how we got here to this place. But if you want to go into that in some other place, some other time, or you just want to get tips like this from me, you can go to inspirednonprofitleadership.com/sign up, where I send a weekly tips email. If you're like, oh my God, Sarah, I want to work with you to rebuild and make my organization operate so much better and have a much better, more effective strategy, you can go to pivotground.com/application and we can talk about how we can work together. Or if you're like, give me those board trainings, well, that's where the Board Clarity Club comes in. You can learn more about it at pivotground.com/board-clarity. It's a club for you and your entire board that includes bite-sized, accessible trainings, templates, worksheets, and a live monthly Q&A call with me where some of your board, all of your board, your leadership staff can come and ask me anything they want related to your organization and your board. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Think about how to run your organizations better. Take action on something. Don't just consume information. Install a lesson that you learned somewhere. And I will see you next time.
You've been listening to Inspired Nonprofit Leadership. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode or the bonus episodes. And while you're at it, please leave a rating and review, and be sure to share with your friends and colleagues. Tune in every week for more useful insights and wisdom on nonprofit leadership. Thanks so much for all you do for the communities you serve. Until next time, all the best.